morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with another episode of a Snowflake Viewpoint, episode 48. The date is the 1st of April, 8 PM. No April Fool jokes here today, guys. I wanted to do something, but I just didn't have time, you know. I've been taking it easy this weekend, guys. I hope you're all well. Hope you had a nice weekend. If you celebrated Easter, happy Easter. I hope you all had for those who celebrated it, hope you had enjoyed it. If not, hopefully you guys spent some time with family and friends and whatnot. Hope you guys are all doing well here in the live chat. Just before we check on Ollie, and we'll go to the latest news. Simple question, guys, and we are going to go straight into that topic with today's live poll. Would you criminalise rough sleeping? Yes or no, or don't know? I did put don't know just in case some people weren't 100% familiar with it, because we are going to talk about that story. It has become the topic of discussion lately as well. Ollie, that's my egg. He's moved the... I told him it's not his egg. He can't even see the lava lamp. Well, you can barely see it. But he's hijacked my one of my cream eggs. Absolutely disgraceful. Let me get away from Ollie. Let's see who's in the chat. Akismad is here. Good to see you, Akismad. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. Why Don't Angry Pagan is here as well. Good to see you, buddy. Ruth is here as well. Good to see you, Ruth. Hope you're doing well. Dave McGuinness is here. Good to see you, David. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend too, buddy. Steve is here as well. Good to see you, Steve. Hope you're doing well. Tories don't get taser. Good to see you there. Hope you're doing well as well. I think that's all that's here in the chat. Nobody in the Twitch chat. I've got the Twitch chat up if you guys are there as well. So if you're on Twitch, feel free to say hello. I don't bite, I promise. So yes, let's dive straight into it, guys, with this one. I can't believe they're actually, you know, you think, guys, that could the Conservatives sink any lower? You know, could they sink any lower? And it turns out they just keep finding new ways to go even lower, don't they, guys? So this was Tory rebels plan to decriminalise rough sleeping by repealing the 200-year-old law. The group working with Labour and Lib Dem MPs opposed the government's move to introduce harsher measures. So rather than the government actually looking, oh, let's do something to help with the homeless. You know, let's get them off. Let's help them find homes. Let's give them what they need. Let's make sure that whatever charities and let's make sure we give them the help that they need. You know, so they don't no longer need to be off the street. No, we're just going to punish them. We're going to fine them. Except they've got no money. They're homeless. Like, what's fining them gonna do? Like, I mean, talk about, like, it. For me, this is like kicking them in the dirt when their lives are already down. Nobody chooses to be homeless. Homelessness is not a lifestyle choice, as a sort of former Home Secretary has said. And this idea that they're trying to paint this charade or charade. I mean, it's just another culture war. This is another culture war. Be be cautious of these people. This is another culture war that they're trying to paint here, yeah? So it's very important to make that distinction here. And they want to say all these homeless people, they're all just trying to just take up all the spaces and everything on the streets and whatnot. When you don't not even consider about what the situation is. Hell, there is also some of these people who were actually homeless recently because of a certain no-fault eviction that the Conservative government didn't want to introduce as well. Some of these people who are living in rented accommodations are no longer in rented accommodations because, you know, the landlords decide to top up their rental price and kick them out with just a few months left and that's it. So it just feels like to me there is little to no humanity whatsoever when it comes to this. Now, obviously, as of right now, there are some Tory rebels who are planning to work with Labour and Lib Dems and other MPs to oppose this bill. Now, cross fingers, I say. I am incredibly sceptical of actually Tory MPs actually going to go out of their ways to stop this. If it does, I will put my thumbs up and say yes, good on those Tory MPs for rebelling against it. However, I still feel that if they really want to push this, they will push this. The Conservative government they still have quite a chunk of Conservative MPs, but I just wonder how they've enacted laws so much against their own conscience, and I'm wondering, is this a step too far? Is this really a game changer here? As Phil from Different Bites put in a short video, I'm not sure because I feel like no matter how low they go, it just doesn't seem to be low enough. I mean, to hear about this story on April the 1st, you really think this is an April Fool's joke, but this is no laughing matter. We're talking about people who have absolutely nothing, who are on the streets, who don't want to be on the streets, who want to live in a home, they want to be able to contribute and work for society. And if they can't work, then we need to find ways that they can be able to still contribute to society in some way, shape or form. But we have to remember that these are all human beings with emotions and feelings, just like you and I here. And we always have to think of it like that. Don't think of these people as just homeless people. Don't think of them as troublemakers and whatnot. When you see a homeless person on a train asking for money, and you hear about them actually going off and having drugs, well, you don't know what their mental state is in. There are all sorts of reasons why people are in the situation that are in. But please, don't chastise homeless people. Really don't. Because you honestly have no idea what it's like to be in their shoes. I've never been homeless. I don't ever want to be homeless. And I sympathise with anyone who's ever had to go through this. So please don't in any way decriminalise or chastise homeless people in any way, because they don't want to be there. They never chose to be there. And it's really important for me to emphasise that. So rough sleeping could be fully decriminalised after 200 years under proposals from rebel Conservative MPs to repeal legislation dating from the aftermath of the Napoleonic Wars. A group of Tories working with Labour and Liberal Democrats want to strip out proposed and existing legislation that criminalises homelessness. The revolt is focused on a government plan to introduce harsher policies of rough sleeping in its crime bill. Under proposals announced by the former Home Secretary Suella Braverman, police in England and Wales are to be given powers to fine or move rough sleepers deemed to be causing a nuisance. Gareth and Donald, thank you so much for that £5 super chat. It's very kind of you. Happy. Oh, I've got to be careful with the phone here. God damn phone. I can't click the heart on it, which is really, really annoying. I will come back and click the heart on it, I promise. Happy Easter. Oh my god, why is my chat up like that? There we go. Happy Easter. We donation. I'm all Netanyahu has a Hinua por Hermal criminalisation. If folks were homeless, there'd be no issue. Fix it for F's sake. Exactly, Gareth. Exactly. Yeah, there we go. Now I can click it. No, it still won't let me click it. What's wrong with this damn phone? Silly phone. Yeah, thank you for that super chat. Absolutely, yeah. They put these people in this situation. A lot of these people, yeah, like I said, it's not something that they want to be in. But yeah, I couldn't agree more, Gareth. Thank you so much for that super chat. I know it's infuriating, guys. So the revolt is I've lost where I was, guys. The revolt is focused on the government's plans to introduce harsher policing of. Yeah, I did cover that. My apologies. The move has infuriated MPs across the Conservative Party. Several dozen are supported proposals by Bob Blackman, a Tory MP coordinating the rebellion, to remove parts of the bill that criminalises rough sleeping and repels the 200-year-old Variety Act. The combined efforts of these proposals, if passed, would be to fully decriminalise rough sleeping. The government has committed to repeal the Wagner Act 1824, which was introduced to target wounded soldiers who began begging on the streets after returning from the Napoleonic Wars, homelessness and destitute. However, ministers have yet to announce a date for the act to be repealed, and campaigners said that in its current form, the criminal justice bill would go even further. There is also a possibility that just sprung on my mind that this is all nothing more than cultural rhetoric, just to stir up that. It could be just a case of they're not actually doing this, and this could be just a means to just start a cult, continue to stoke the fires of culture war, because this is what the Conservatives want as well. So it could just be all rhetoric, and let's hope it is just that. Almost 4,000 people have been arrested under Vagri law in the in the 5 years to 2023, according to data collected by the local government expert Jack Shaw. Blackman said aspects of the proposed bill under which rough sleepers could be moved on, fined up to £2,500 or imprisoned were outrageous and worse than the Bribery Act. Like, they don't have anything. They don't have anything. They're homeless. They don't have anything. You're going to fine them. Like, really? And the thing is, you know what's even more stupid, guys? What's even more stupid, right? Like, even if they were to be stricter and throw these people and throw the homeless in prison, you can't throw them in prison because guess what? The prison system is full. Like, it's just one problem after another. It's just not one problem after another. It's just crazy, guys. The police should assist people who are homeless to find somewhat that they can find safety rather than arrest them and put them in a prison cell. Yes, he said. What we've got is to make sure of that is that we constrain to the Bribery Act from the to the history books, not just the statutory books, and ensure that people are assisted to find somewhere to live. Yes, exactly. Nicole Acken, the Tory MP for cities of London and Westminster, and a long-standing campaigner against the Bribery Act, said, I can't say the word properly, guys, I know. I've been working with Bob Blackman on his amendment, and it's ridiculous to think that we should criminalise rough sleeping. How are they going to pay their £2,500 fine? They need proper service addressing these reasons why they're on the streets, not a criminal record. Yeah, and here's the other thing, the added thing is as well. Good evening, Joe. Good to see you, buddy. If you add a criminal record, right, and let's just say they start getting their life on track, that criminal record is going to make it harder for them to find work as well. You're going to put a criminal record on them for being homeless on the streets against no fault of their own. This is cruelty. Absolute pure cruelty is what this is. Matt Downen, the chief executive of the homelessness charity Crisis, said, if these amendments pass, they would appear to have cross-party support from huge numbers of people that would have the effect of finally moving on from 200 years of punch-driven and cruel interventions that stop people accessing the help they need and punish them for their circumstances. Yeah. On Monday, Kevin Holloway, a business minister, refused to say whether he supported the plans. I believe that those things are not with my auspices, he told Times Radio. I'll be interested to see the legislation as it goes through and what the Prime Minister has planned. The Times, which first reported the story, said about 40 MPs had made it known to the government whips that they would vote against the proposal to criminalise rough sleeping. The former Tory leader Ian Duncan-Smith and Damien Green, the One Nation caucus chair, were among those to have joined the rebellion. Critics say the legislation is so broadly drawn that someone could have been considered a nuisance for a sleepaway in the doorway, being deemed to have an excess smell or looking as if they intend to rough sleep. Ministers are in talks with the rebels over the possible compromise before the bill returns to the Commons after the Easter reset. Yeah, this is the thing that I think that they will do. I think they will try to do. They will narrow it down so much. But good evening, Matt. Good to see you, buddy. But they will. It's really important that this bill, whenever it comes to the House, we need to look at it and see it from detail. What actually it states, what it's going to say, and it is a real cause for concern. Alex Norris, the Shadow Policing Manager, said, with soaring serious violence, plummeting charging rates and rock bottom levels of confidence in policing, the criminal justice bill was a chance to address cruelty community safety issues. Instead, the government have chosen to go after homeless people instead of homeless people or indeed anyone who smells. These are twisted priorities of a government out of time. It's just, to me, it's also a distracting tactic as well. The Lib Dem MP, Leila Moran, said the heartless proposals of the criminal justice bill risk bringing back the Bribery Act by the back door. The government should listen to its own backbenchers and take a compassionate approach to tackle homelessness instead of stigmatising and criminalising rough sleeping. I just feel like I just feel like this is more the culture war stuff, if I'm honest, guys. It does come across to me like I do feel like there is a intent for it to come across like the whole culture war stuff as well, and that's how I generally feel. It's oh, good evening, Reg. Good to see you there. Sorry if I didn't see your comment earlier. I hope you're doing well. It's just not right, guys. Come on, like everybody, like no one chooses to be homeless. No one. It's really important to emphasise that, guys. One angry pagan says, I've been homeless. It would also help if the UK roaming laws were lessened or least. I lived up the countryside or Dartmoor, but added stigma of roaming laws prohibit that. Wagner Act is evil. Roaming Scottish laws is different. I actually think so. I'm pretty sure the Scottish government, thinks of homeless people much differently than this vile government. That's for sure. I just what else did you? I've studied. Rough sleeping is illegal under many bylaws and the Varagry Act, says Dave McGuinness. Thanks for that, David. So in the UK, instead of trying to help people, the government turns them into criminals. What a lovely place. Yeah, it is. It's pretty scary. Yeah. Dave McGuinness, we're asking you all to hit the like button. Yeah, if you can, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks for that. Yeah, it's pretty despicable to say the least, guys. Would you decriminalise rough sleeping, guys? Vote in the poll. We've had 16 votes so far, so cast your vote. Have your voice said in the live chat. So 16 votes so far. 81% of you say yes. 90% of you say no. Nobody is unsure. It's either yes or no, but the vast majority have voted yes on that. So that's the live poll in the YouTube chat today, guys. So if you want to cast your vote, please do. So next one I've got for you guys is well, it's a combination of migration and Brexit. It's one also from The Guardian. So migrant workers are at greater risk of modern slavery after Brexit, a research finds. So the exclusive from The Guardian reveals that visa created hastily to solve labour shortages exposed the people to hyper-productive and exploration. So when we left the European Union, we obviously had much more stricter and stronger laws to protect people both within the EU and the UK, to protect those who are coming in from outside, who work in establishments. Now, while there was cases of people being abused, it wasn't as high as it is since we've left the EU. I would say those numbers have increased. Now, I've already had here on the channel, as you guys may or may not have been aware, there's been many cases of migrant workers who are working in particular here in England. I can't speak for the other devolved nations, but in England I can speak for. It says that some of them have been paid then less than the minimum wage, not getting any breaks. Some of them working to 12 plus 16 plus 20 hours, working non-stop, working literally like a slave in their situation. And they are trapped in it, and some of them are trapped in this cycle with little to nowhere to go or anyone to speak to when it comes to help. So leaving the European Union, having those additional laws that being part of the European Union have, it's not helped these situation. So modern slavery, we had sadly there was modern slavery taking place here in England. But I feel like now, because we've left the EU, I do believe it has gotten worse here, and it does need to be called out whenever it can be, guys. So let's read into this exclusive. So visas created hastily to solve labour shortages as a result of Brexit have put workers at greater risk of modern slavery and exploration, researchers found. The strict conditions on agriculture and care visas created after Britain left the EU exposed workers to precarity and increased their vulnerability to exploration. A study by the coalition of leading universities and charities has concluded that since Brexit, farm workers and care home workers have had a route to Britain on a time-limited visa with stringent conditions. So they wanted to, when we left, obviously, guys, when we left the European Union, this is what people wanted. We wanted reduction of immigration. We wanted less migration. What we didn't realise was that we actually needed these workers, and we're actually making it extremely difficult for them to work and live in here. And obviously there was the law. I think it was earlier last year. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Then we have a law where now people can come and study in the UK or work in the UK, but they can't even bring their family and friends with them now. Like, it's just like you're even more pushing people away from the UK, really trying to kind of just, it literally does feel like just pulling up the drawbridge for any friendship, any relationship with other people. It really does feel that way. No worries, Stephen Banker. Thanks for popping by. I greatly appreciate it. That's fine. Take care. Thanks for popping by. But yeah, the people, strange, these, like, where is the incentive? Why do that? You're better off just working in the EU. It really is. There's no incentive to be putting yourself under these strains and conditions. Like, it really is not worth it. Workers on the scheme face significant issues of debt and deductions from wages because of illegal recruitment fees, as well as costs recurring from travel, training, accommodation, and high visa charges, research found. Yes, they're going through all this process, and then they end up getting treated like crap. They also described deception by intermediates who misled workers about the conditions and the length of employment they could expect. So migrant workers' vulnerability to exploitation was compounded by the hostile environment, as fears of immigration and enforcement action deterred them from reporting mistreatment or exploitation to the authorities, researchers found. The risks were increased by the fact that government agencies charged with enforcing employment rights were underfunded and did not have the capacity to audit workplace proactively, studies said. So Dr. Lena Freeman at the University of Leicester, who led the research team, said there was a high risk of labour exploration and debt bondage under both visas. She said Brexit had made workers more vulnerable because those coming from Europe had previously had the possibility of to make complaints and to talk about labour exploration because they wouldn't risk their status automatically if their employer revoked their sponsorship. Yeah, they were literally blackmailed. They were literally blackmailed at that, essentially, that point. When they were in that situation, they were literally like blackmailed into saying, well, if you don't, I'm just going to take your there's no like there's no middle ground for them. They don't have someone they can go to in that situation, which is why there needs to be a change in the law. There needs to be some kind of independent body or something that they can go to if they need it when they are in this situation, so they have a way out. But there doesn't appear to be one here in the UK, and I think that's something that needs to be addressed. We see a lot in the care sector that people aren't willing to come forward even if they experience severe labour abuse, because they are not sure if they can find another sponsor within the time frame that the Home Office gives them to do so. So they're more afraid of losing their job than having to go back home and having all this debt that they have incurring it than they are continuing with the exploration that they are experiencing. Yeah, that's not helping. She said it was needed to be easier for workers to change employers so that moving jobs was an actual possibility, adding, I cannot stay in this hypothetical state because otherwise workers are just too vulnerable. So one man who came from Britain to Britain from the Philippines under a care worker visa in 2022 said he had to work 12-hour shifts without breaks, looking after residents with dementia for minimum wage. The man, 30, who previously worked as a teacher, said he paid more than £3,000 for flights for him and his wife to come at less than 2 weeks' notice, and he was still paying his sister back for the flight. He told The Guardian, everything just goes on whether you're paying and nothing is left. I tried my luck here, but right now I have more debt than before, and I've been here for a year and a half. He said he's also being charged almost £300 a month in unclear fees from the agents who brought him to Britain. They said it's fast for processing our visas, but in my opinion they're trying to get more money than us. Yeah, this is. I feel like there needs to be. The system is not fair. I think we can all agree the system is not fair, and I don't think the Home Office is maybe the Home Office is not the right place for this to be done through. Perhaps maybe there should be a separate department. And there should be an independent body within that separate department, independent of the government, that people can go to when they have issues, that can actually ensure that that they have something to go to, but they can also work the processes in behalf of private companies. That this can't be done via back doors by just private companies. This has to be done like permitted through the Home Office, through a department, and that everything on this person is recorded, and that this person has a contact, whether it's by an email, telephone, whatever. They can contact an independent office or whatever if they're ever in need of assistance on anything or something like that. Why do we not have something like that? That's kind of the thing that kind of boggles my mind here. He has been expecting accommodation to be included with the job, but had to rent a room with a shared house with his wife and a new baby, which uses up most of his income. I came here to give my family a good chance of living and provide for them, and it's a scary feeling to be in this spot. Yeah, so it's just kind of like he wasn't told, he wasn't given all his details as well. Like, the company should be giving him, telling him, like, everything needs to be clear and precise to people who, when they come to the UK, everything needs to be clear and precise. And this person was not. And this is not just him. This is many, many examples of people being put in these situations against their own will. There needs to be safeguards, and there's no safeguards here. That's the problem, guys. Some of my colleagues have had to pay job finding fees thousands of pounds just to get here. I'm continually looking for another jobs. My colleagues even sold land and cars back home just to come here. I need to be strong for my kid and my wife, but it's very stressful. Care worker visas have also come under criticism from the former Chief Inspectors of Borders Immigration, whose inspection of immigration in the care sector was published last week. In his foreword, David Neal wrote that the Home Office had used a visa model based on one for highly skilled workers sponsored in the multinationals and applied it to high-risk area migration into an autonomous and poorly paid sector. Neal noted its control measures to mitigate the risks were totally inadequate. There's just one compliance officer for every 1,600 employers licensed to sponsor migrant workers. The seasonal worker visa has faced similar criticisms and was rolled out before a pilot of the plan was reviewed. The report noted that the Home Office continues to expand the scheme despite strong evidence of a worker exploitation and mistreatment. Home Office spokesperson says, "We do not tolerate illegal activity in the labour market and will always take decisive action when we believe abusive practices are taking place. To address concerns about within the health and care sector, worker providers in England are now only able to sponsor migrant workers if they undertake activities regulated by the Care Qualities Commission." But are the Care Qualities Commission ensuring that all the safeguards are in place here for these people? That's the question I have, and I don't think they do. The seasonal workers route has been running for 4 years, and each year improvement has been made to stop exploration and clamp down on poor working conditions while people are in the UK. Well, we're still having these issues then, clearly. We're still having people who are taking advantage of the situation. That's clearly what's happening here. So it's all well and good saying that, but that's just only the care sector, the Care Qualities Commission that we're just seeing there. So yeah, it's just not enough there. Let me just say, see what you guys are saying in the chat. Above the Variety Law 1874 is still in effect in England and Wales. Yeah, it needs to go. Shameful, can't believe, Steve, that was from David Guinness. Steve says, shameful, can't believe how readily some people exploit them. How do they live with themselves? They don't care. They don't care. You know, we actually, I would say the majority of us here, you know, we actually have a conscience. Whereas these people, they don't see the damage. Either they don't see the damage that they do, or they honestly don't care, and they think people just need to tighten their belts and toughen up. I can't find concepts on your YouTube page. Jal, do you mind just do a link for? Are you looking for his YouTube page, One Angry Pagan? It's not. If you just type it, it's not that hard to if you're looking for it. I'm sure if Jal has a look, he can put a link for it if you want there. But just quickly on the vote, 19 votes so far on the would you decriminalise rough sleeping. 74% of you say yes, 26% of you say no. Thank you guys for casting your votes in the poll. No, we're not doing the funny video just yet. No. Right, so the next one, not yet anyway. So the next one I've got, no, it's that one, yeah. This one is from the BBC. More protests within the Labour Party. things are still not going in the right direction for Labour here, guys. So 20 Lancashire councillors have quit Labour in their leadership protest. So this is to do, so the main reason that in the protest 20 Lancashire councillors have quit is with regards to the war on Gaza, what's happening in Gaza, obviously. We've already heard many stories already. I've covered many stories about how many have quit. Many Labour councillors have simply quit just because of the fact of Labour's position. Labour do want, now let's be very clear about something here. Labour do want a ceasefire. They just want it worded in such a way that it's not going to upset the Israeli Prime Minister and the Israeli government, because they're scared of them. We know they're scared of them, because if they weren't scared of them, they would have voted with the SNP. The SNP had a very clear position. They want an immediate ceasefire and they want the bloodshed to stop. And we'll ridicule Netanyahu and the Israeli government for their acts. Again, Labour are too scared to criticise Israel, because obviously they're the ones likely to be in government at the next general election. The Conservatives, well, they're just going to roll with whatever vote. They don't really care, to be fair, because they're not going to be in power for much longer anyway. And to say, some people saying that it's not affecting. Now, I think one thing about this, and I remember Phil from Different Bias actually made this point, and I actually do think it's good. A good point is that to not judge Muslim voters of all voting the same way. Just like whites, just like whoever, basically, everyone votes how they want to vote. Now, just because that there is a chunk of the Muslim people who may choose to turn away and not cast their vote for Labour based off the Gaza ceasefire, does not mean that all Muslims are going to not support Labour. Some will still going to stand by Labour, even if they disagree with Labour's position or wording when it comes to the ceasefire in Gaza. And that was the point he was making in regards to this. Now, yes, of course, we all know that even if all the political parties were united in calling for a ceasefire, and they put a bill through saying that we call the Israeli government announcement to call for a ceasefire, whatever kind of ceasefire that would be, Netanyahu will completely ignore it and just carry on doing what he's doing anyway. We know that. The point is about it's about the more high ground within the situation in this. And for many people within the Labour Party, whether it's just a backbencher or a councillor, for many of them, they cannot in their conscience continue to for them on their conscience and from what they are getting from people on the doors and in their constituencies, they are getting a lot of criticism about the situation, that Labour's position not being strong enough or not being tough enough on Israel when it comes to the war in Gaza. Despite, yes, even though they don't have a say and they can't do anything about what's happening there, I get that, but still, they still expect them to call it out. So that's kind of it. Now, that's not me that's not me criticising Labour. Well, technically it is me criticising Labour, to be fair. But this is just how some people in certain constituencies and places where they have to make difficult decisions, and honestly, if this situation in Gaza was not happening, Labour would be so much stronger. They'd be in a lot stronger position, a lot more united, I would say. They are still united, but this situation in Gaza is obviously, it is not helping their situation. If I'm absolutely honest. So, 20 Lancashire councillors have resigned their Labour membership in protest over the party's leadership. So the councillors each sit on the Pentonville Borough Council, Neilson Town Council, or Beaconsfield Town Council. If I've mispronounced any of the names, I apologise. They claim Sir Keir Starmer's leadership no longer reflects their views and say they will now serve as independents. The Labour Party said its focus was on winning the next general election. The mass resignations is believed to be the largest defection under Sir Keir's leadership. In November, 11 councillors quit the party in Burnley over its decision not to push for a ceasefire in Gaza. The councillor, Mohammed Igwal, who is one of the 20 councillors to resign from the party, told BBC Northwest today, in the last few weeks there has been a culture developing from the National Labour Party that seems to want to control anything the way councillors want to say. He added, the party's nationality seems to want to take control of who we stand and where and when. We don't think that's right, and we've taken the difficult decision to resign. A party spokesperson says the Labour Party is focused on winning the general election so we can improve the lives of those who are elected to serve. 4 of the 20 councillors are set to stand for re-election in May. And that's all really on it. But it's still quite... it's still... 20 councillors is still quite a blow for Labour. It is a small one there, but I still think it's a frustrating one, to say the least, to lose that many councillors. Whether they will capture them again, we'll have to wait and see. But we will see. I'm just going to scroll up to see what was saying in the chat. Farmers in New Zealand and variety are the worst employers, and they complain that young New Zealanders won't take work on farms. If the pay's not good, why would? Yeah, I think I'd obviously I don't know what it's like in New Zealand. Steve there's from New Zealand, but if you want to encourage people, if you want to encourage young British people, let's say, to do some of the jobs that migrants do, you've got to pay them. You've got to pay them at least a minimum. You've got to make the pay worth it for them. If the pay's not worth it for them, then why would they do the work? And that same concept applies anywhere, not just in Britain, anywhere. And I'm go out on a limb and say that applies the same in New Zealand, Steve. And you can correct me if I'm wrong in that. One angry pagan says they aren't scared of the Israelis. They just want still half of the foundation of diplomacy with Israel. When they come to government, they don't want to start off their tenure with more agonism. Yeah, I understand that they don't want. No, I totally understand where you're coming from, one angry pagan. But the point is obviously they don't want to have a strenuous relationship with Israel. But the problem is that the entire world has a strenuous relationship with Israel, and they're completely ignoring what people are saying. And I'm sure you agree with me on that, at least. I think it's about 50-50 that the Muslim vote and not voting. I'm sure I've heard that somewhere, Sasaki's man. We honestly don't know. Like we don't know what like I said, some Muslims will still vote Labour, some will not, some will vote elsewhere. Just like everybody else. We shouldn't say that everyone's going to vote a particular way just because of one situation. It's not right to put it that way. That doesn't mean I would personally fully detach diplomacy ties, but I would. But I'm not a diplomat, says one angry pagan. Yeah, it's I get. But the thing is, like, Labour cannot detach from Labour. Labour government will not detach itself from. They can't detach themselves from Israel because of. They're not willing to stop supplying arms to them as well. We're still sending weapons and that to them as well, which is really annoying as well. That's fine. Hey Andrew, Luke, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. So guys, I'm just going to stop and take a little break here. I hope you guys are enjoying the content so far. So interesting articles so far. We've still got quite a few more to go through, guys. Is this right? I'm just checking the videos. All right, there. Ollie has taken my cream egg over the Easter weekend, so Ollie is very, very happy. He won't hand it over. So I do have this hostage situation here. So if anyone has any suggestions on how to get the egg back from him, let me know in the comment section down below. It's really, really important because that's the only. Well, I've got one from I did get one from Mum, but I still haven't got it from her yet. But those who celebrate Easter, don't worry, it's all well and good. But anyway, some guy from Portsmouth wants to talk on the radio. I don't know why this guy keeps getting this airtime. Just baffles me, guys. I don't know why this guy keeps getting all this airtime. Just I feel like hogging the spotlight all the time.
Colin from Portsmouth is on the line. Hello, Colin.
Well done, Tom Cleverley.
Tom Cleverley, James Cleverley. Tom Cleverley played for Watford, Colin.
Oh, names are fluid, Anthony.
Right,
Grant
yeah.
Shapps had 7 of them.
True.
Well done, James Cleverley, for sacking people for saying how bad things are. And well done for banning overseas care workers from bringing their families with them while they work here. Cleverley by name, James by nature.
It seems like another way of saying, you know, we want people here to help us, but we don't want them to be human, Colin.
Oh, don't be soft. They're
Right.
here to care for our elderly and sick, not their own. The last thing you want is for your carer to say, oh, sorry, I can only look after you until 5. I've got to make my 8-year-old's dinner. Let someone else make their dinner 1,000 miles away. That's how it should be. And if you have a family after coming here, we should deport them too. That shows a lack of focus.
You're disincentivising them from coming, Colin. That's the
Well, they
problem.
can't have been that keen to come if they thought to have families before this rule was invented. And how
yeah.
about this idea? If you're a carer, then
Right.
train up your 10-year-old to care as well. Free labour for the NHS is win-win. Have that one for free, Cleverly. Anyway, mate, thanks for having me on. Love to the family.
Love to the family, Colin. Love to the family.
You know, sometimes as a nation, I think we're too kind.
Yeah, does resonate, yeah, how we're feeling right now. Colin from Portsmouth, the Exploding Heads YouTube channel, guys. The video, it's under the funny video description if you haven't seen it. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to Exploding Heads. You can see all the Colin from Portsmouth videos there, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. In all good stuff. So the next, let me just make sure I've got the right one up. Have I got the right one up? I hope so, guys. So this next one, guys, is from Sky News. Hello, Alistair Keir. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. Good to see you. The next one we got is from Sky News. It's about the extended free childcare. Extended free childcare rollout begins as Labour accuses the government of having a pledge without a plan. Well, didn't the government say they always have a plan, guys? I thought they had a plan. Don't they have a plan? Maybe they don't have a plan. Maybe they don't. Airbus, good to see you there. I hope you're doing well as well. I saw you. I saw your comment. And anybody who's in the Twitch chat is watching and not saying hello, that's fine. Hope you're doing well there. So from today, eligible parents and carers of 2-year-olds will be entitled to 15 hours of funding of childcare per week. The plan is that the working parents of all children 9 months and over will get 15 hours of free childcare from September this year, rising to 30 hours a year later. This is all well and good. Sounds great, except like where's the workers for this? Where's the day? Like, there's a lot of question marks. So first of all, where are the workers for this? Now, I have a relative of mine who works in the care sector, who works in childcare, and she says this is an absolute load of tosh because she works in a private one, and she says that we already, we're not taking any more on board, and if anybody wants to take any more on, they have to wait not this year, not next year, the year after. Like, that's how, like, they have to book 2 years in advance to be on in. And now obviously the one that a relative has talked about this with is a private childcare service, but still, like, it should not be that case. And this kind of is like, it's not going to move the wheels whatsoever in this situation. Is there funding behind this? What there is? It's all well and good putting this out, but there's no context behind this to me. Like, this is not going to change the situation in childcare. So they think it's going to make a difference. It's not. It really is not, guys. So the government's extended childcare policy is beginning today, but it starts amid warnings of a lack of funding and not enough staff to fulfil the pledge. From today, eligible parents and carers of 2-year-olds will be entitled to 15 hours funding of childcare per week. It is the first part of an £8 billion package announced at the 2023 budget, and that the government hopes will save working parents an average of £3,450 a year to help boost the workforce and the economy. Now, it may help some parents, but it's not going to help overall. It's not going to make that big of a difference, guys. While welcomed by parents, it has already come under criticism from providers and the opposition. Labour has highlighted Ofsted data suggesting more than 1,000 childcare plans were lost between March and December 2023, despite the expected uptick in demand. And in the early year alliance, the EYA, which represents providers of childcare, said services will struggle and fees may need to go up. And yeah, that's the other thing as well. The fees are going to have to go up because, like, you know, they've got paid staff. You want more staff in the daycare and you want to take on more people. That's how it works. From the 1st of April, changes mark the start of a staggered rollout, with the plan being that the working parents of all children 9 months and over will get 15 hours of free childcare from September this year, rising to 30 hours a year later. So Labour's attack includes a so-called dossier of childcare chaos, which lays out concerns such as parents complaining of high costs, long waiting lists and nurses warning they could go bust. The dossier from Labour says the Conservative childcare pledge without a plan announced at the 2023 budget is threatening to crash the childcare system, just like the Conservatives crashed the economy. I don't know if you noticed, guys, but how many of you, from England in particular, how many of you actually go out and about and see so many kids now, not rather than being in childcare, spending time with other children at a young age? How many of them now are just spending time with their grandparents? So many grandparents nowadays are spending more time with their kids, which is nothing wrong with that. But you know, for me, that was not a normal thing. When I was young, it was not a normal thing. But so many grandparents are looking after kids now because parents just cannot afford the childcare costs. They're just too expensive. It's just too expensive. Even just the medium income earners, even people on medium income who are making a decent living, you know, even that is putting people off the childcare. And person who I mentioned, who was obviously who works in the private childcare, most of them are wealthy or high-end earners, because it costs so much money to put them in childcare. It just speaks volumes. Do you know what our Scottish government do to provide support with this? I would say it's probably a lot better than what England are providing, shall I say, Ruth, to be fair. This is a copy of Scottish government policy. Scottish government policy without a plan, then, if that's the case. But yeah, it's just it's just throwing this out there and just trying to make it seem like, yeah, look, we're trying to please parents, right? But as it says here in the article, there's not enough staff, there's not enough places. So what's going to happen? More and more parents are going to get annoyed. And instead of blaming the government for introducing this, they're going to blame these places. And not even going to be able to do them because some of them are just going to be so expensive. It's just going to be insane. The Shadow Education Secretary, Bridget Phillipson, said after 14 years of Tory failure, it will be Labour who will get on with the job and finally deliver the much-needed childcare for parents. Well, that's all well and good, but it's obviously going to be, if Labour can fix it, great. But it's going to be a tough ask, that's for sure. This is why we have commissioned the repeated former Ofsted Inspector Sir David Bell to leave a review on the urgent education and childcare to guarantee early years of entitlement for parents. Hello, number 3. Good to see you there, buddy. Only Labour will reform our childcare system and deliver the accessible, affordable early years education that will give children the best start in life. The commissioning of the review by Labour was seen by the Conservatives as an attempt to cancel the plans should Sir Keir Starmer come to power. Keir Starmer's party, sorry. We are not glorified babysitters. After that, at the Cornerstone Tots playgroup in Grimsby, a mum-of-3, Vicky Nunn, welcomed the extra free childcare, working long hours as a nurse. She said, taking weight off my mind that I can still work, being able to know I can afford childcare and not have to drop shifts. But there are concerns that parents and carers pinning their hopes on benefiting from the new offers could be disappointed. The EYA Chief Executive, Neil Schlitz, said there is a lack of both spaces and staff. You have to value the sector. You have to recognise that we are not glorified babysitters, he said. The rising cost of living may also play a part. At Grimsby Community Baby Bank, we've seen an increase in the number of working families use their service. Volunteer Leonor Hudson told Sky News some families are going without eating themselves just so the children can eat. Yeah, we've heard this situation. How many times have we heard this situation about families going without eating just so they could make sure to put food in their mouths for their children? Not addressing the fundamental issues that our society is in right now, in particular here in England. They're not addressing the fundamental issues. The Education Secretary, Gillian Keegan, I hate this person, said the government is on track to deliver its first raise of its rollout to 150,000 working parents of 2-year-olds. The expansion of the free childcare aims to take pressure off parents and providers, but they are concerned it might not get people back into work quite as quickly as the government hopes. It's not going to get people back into work as the government hopes. They think it will, but it won't. It will make a difference to some, but it's in the right now. It's just they don't need this, the care sector. Like, I understand that people want to work more and need to work more. I get that premise. I really, really do. But if you're not going to provide enough funding for the childcare sector, if you're not going to provide the staff as well, how is this supposed to work? That's the thing that for me, I just don't see how it's working. And it's very frustrating to say the least, you guys. I'm just going to have a look, see what you guys look in the live chat. So the question I put to you guys is, would you decriminalise rough sleeping? Very simple one there. Yes, no, or don't know there. 65% of you say yes. 35% of you say no, and 0% of you nobody is unsure. So I did put don't know just in case people weren't 100% sure, but yeah, would you decriminalise it or not? That was very ghostly, Regan. Yeah, I have actually been doing some recording today, which I shouldn't have been doing because I was supposed to be taking it easy today. Joe Lefty Boater, good to see you there. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you coming by. 150,000 working parents. So is that for 75,000 2-year-olds? Potentially, but I just it's just the childcare system can't cope right now, and they're throwing more at it. It's just not enough. I put no in vote when I meant yes. That's fine, Andrew. I won't say anything. I saw some videos on YouTube of parents confessing to miss meals to feed their kids. So many single parents. Yeah, I've seen the videos too, Joe. It's very depressing. It's very depressing when you see them. This is one of the consequences of the virtual disappearance of the AU parts and nannies from the EU, says Joe. Yeah. You guys talking about Labour there. Why are people saying no to decriminalisation on it? As Andrew said, he accidentally clicked it, but some people, like, the choice is there. I'm not going to call out people, it's why are people saying no? I don't know. Is my honest answer. I don't know. Some people just generally think, Ruth, that perhaps that the homelessness, just think of them more as vermin. Maybe that's it, but I don't know. I can't speak for those who say no. But for those, obviously, Andrew said he didn't mean to pick no. But if someone wants to say in the live chat now why they did it, they're more than welcome to. Yep, I know. Another deep breath. So another one, guys. Oh God. Do you love me some sewage, guys? It's an exclusive from iNews, so I'm sure you guys have heard about this from some others already today. Not today, but from over the weekend. Raw sewage was pumped into the River Thames, tributaries on the boat race day. So untreated sewage carrying potentially dangerous bacteria was released into the Thames and nearby tributaries. I can't say that word, guys. I'm losing it today. On the day of the university's boat race, I want to just say that I feel so sorry for these people. I feel so sorry for them. I know it's bad enough. Yeah, we've screamed and shouted about the rivers and our waters and the situation that there's so much crap in our sewage systems. Many other ways to describe it. But the university boat race, these guys are just trying to you know, for them to be doing that in the sewage, and it's just like, oh, I just feel, you know, they're just, you know, it's going to take such a long time to fix our waters, such a long time, and it's so depressing to think about it. Like, there are some things Labour will be able to fix. They will not fix this in one term. They will not. It's just this is going to take decades to fix the damage that's been caused by these water companies. Decades. But yeah, apparently they were pumping raw sewage in while the boat race was going on as well. I know. Infuriating. So Thames Water discharged sewage into the steam feeding into the River Thames on the day of the Oxford-Cambridge boat race, the Icon reveal. Storm overflows were releasing raw sewage into the River Mold, a nearby Thames tributary, from the early hours of the morning on the 28th of March until after the race had finished, according to the data from Thames Water's storm discharge map. Sewage was also released into the River Wye in Weybridge, the main tributary of the Thames, throughout the race on Saturday, the map had shown. Untreated sewage carrying potentially dangerous bacteria was also released into the Thames at Windsor on the day of the famous race. River Action UK said while an outflow had been pouring sewage onto the river since March the 27th from Greenwich. The Oxford rowing team captain Leon Jenkins reported that he had fallen ill with E. coli infection before they lost to Cambridge in the annual race on the 30th of March. He said that while it would have been ideal to not have so much poo in the water, he was not making excuses for the loss and did not know if Oxford could have been beaten Cambridge if they were all on form because of they are a talented crew. River Action UK issued guidance before the race, warning participants to avoid contact with the water during the race and to abandon the tradition of throwing the cocks into the river afterwards. I generally think they should have had, like, they were going to go ahead with it. I think they should have had something to cover their mouths. Just as a precaution as well. I think they should have had something to cover their mouths. Maybe not like a face mask, but something that would have helped maybe. I know it sounds a bit silly to say that, but I just you know, them getting, I don't want them getting sick, you know. Ben Shaw, good to see you, Ben. Hope you're doing well. That came after a series of tests near the Hammersmith Bridge showing an average level of E. coli colony forming units nearly 3 times higher than the Environment Agency's quality standards for bathing and inland water. As it peaked, the result shows it's nearly 10 times the limit. It's just crazy. The boat race, of course, is 6.8 kilometres long, stretching between Bury and Moor Lake on the River Thames and southwest London. There was a sewage discharge at Colburn, Surrey, from 4:15 a.m. on the 20th of March to 6:30 p.m. That's a long time to discharge sewage. Oh, sorry, that was non-stop for 2 days. Sorry, 30th of March. Another sewage discharge released from Esker, Surrey, from 2 a.m. on the 28th of March to 6:15 a.m. on the 31st. According to Thames Water data, raw sewage was released into the River Mull, a tributary that goes into the Thames at Hampton. James Wallace, CEO of River Action, said it was outrageous to see Thames Water discharging sewage into the river on race day, putting the rowers and health and lives at risk. So this is sewage discharge. Thames Water sewage discharge as of 31st of March. So I'm assuming, I can't really read too much into this map, but I'm going to assume the greens obviously mean that there was minimum to no discharge. I'm going to assume the oranges there were discharges, and the reds were obviously major discharges there. I'm just going to go out on a limb and assume that, guys. And maybe that's just me from that. He told the Eye, I checked the online live sewage map for Thames Water for sewage discharges during the race, and I could see that dozens of storm overflows were discharging untreated FNU for all the bacteria from just up the river, up the Thames at Colburn, Effner and Windsor, all the way upstream through Reading to Oxford to Cheltenham and Swindon. He added that the team was devastated but not surprised to hear that members of the Oxford team were unwell after contact with the water. If it suggested E. coli can cause unpleasant illness, but most fit and healthy individuals will recover after a few days. However, rowers are at particular risk because of the blistering into their hands the sport causes. A Thames Water spokesperson said, taking action to improve the health of rivers is a key focus for us, and we want to lead the way with our transparent approach to data. While you're discharging sewage while they're doing the race. so insulting. This is so insulting from them. We remain the only company to provide live alerts for all untreated discharges at this near real-time data, which is available to customers on our map and our websites, and is also available through open platform third parties such as swimming environmental groups use. You don't have to do this. They don't have to do this much discharge. Yeah, let me be clear about this. They do not have to discharge this much sewage. Yeah, this is a choice. They are choosing to discharge this amount of sewage. Yeah, into our rivers and into our seas. This is a choice by Thames Water, just like it is a choice like every other water company out there that is choosing to do this. They are choosing to do this. Yeah? They are choosing to do this. Yeah? They do not have to discharge this amount of sewage. They are choosing to do this, people. We have experienced higher than average long-term rainfall across London, Thames Valley, with groundwater levels exceptionally high from the time of the year. They added the overflows are designed to operate automatically when the sewage network is about to be overwhelmed and when the releases to Jill and wastewaters in the river, rather than letting it back up into people's homes. Yes, I understand that, but they are choosing to allow so much out. And if they had upgraded the damn water systems when we prioritised them, we wouldn't be in this poop of a mess, would we? We are working hard to make sure that these discharges are necessary and have published plans to upgrade over 200 of our sites. But first of all, we need you to pay an extra 40% on top of your water bills, English people, because obviously we can't afford to stop giving our shareholders dividends. That's really, really important. Including a £100 million upgrade for our modern sewage treatment network in South West London to treat the high volumes of incoming sewage and reduce the need for overflows during the wet river. Like I've said before on this story, I welcome the upgrade, but still. It comes after the Environment Agency's figures released on Wednesday revealed that raw sewage being poured to English rivers, lakes and coastal areas for 3.6 million hours last year, making it 2023 the worst year on record for sewage spillings. We're only into we're just on the first month of April. What do you think what do you think the number is right now? What do you think the number is going to be right now, guys? And we're only 4 months in. All companies in England discharge untreated waste from thousands of storm overflow points, 464,000 times last year. Official figures released from the Environment Agency on Wednesday show. The data shows sewage was spilled for a total of 3 over 3 million hours of from these overflows in 2023, up from 1.7 million hours in 2022. That's more than double as well. And what's the government done? They've done nothing. They have done nothing. They're not doing anything about it. They're just talking, and that's it. Liberal Democrats have accused water companies of committing environmental vandalism. That's a great way of putting it. After the analysis revealed that there were 31,000 sewage discharges in bathing areas last year. This was an increase of 47% compared to 2022 and equates to an average of 86 times a day into bathing watering areas. Liberal Democrats warned that families visiting the seasides over the Easter bank holiday would be horrified that popular beaches are being ruined by sewages. And I've said this already, but seaside resorts and seaside beaches, you know how they rely on income from tourism and whatnot. Well, when they find out that these beaches and that are full of brown, they're not going to come to these tourist sites. They're going to be put off by them. You know, it's just going to make people more and more miserable. It really, really is. I know, it sucks. It really, really sucks, guys. I'm going to come to your comments in a moment, but I just want to say thank you for everyone who's cast their votes in the live poll. We got one more story to do. Ask if you would decriminalise rough sleeping. 60% of you say yes, 40% of you say no. Nobody is unsure. 25 people cast their vote. Thank you everyone who casted their vote on the live poll on YouTube. Greatly appreciate it. Let me have a quick look in the chat what you guys are saying there. Funny how Loch is almost the same as Icolion as Lagos in Portugal, says Jal. Turd Island, says Joe Lefty Boater. Yeah, I've heard that one already. The people are going to be mocking Brits going abroad. They're going to be mocked. They're going to be laughed at over all this. I'm sure there'll be fine likelihood the families of the riders will be shareholders in the previous nationalised utilities we used to have. Labour are still talking about beefing up regulations, so I personally reckon the water companies are trying to get away with as much as they possibly could while the Tories continue to deregulate. Yeah, they haven't said they're going to nationalise it, Labour, but obviously, but they obviously are going to talk out regulation, but they will be under intense pressure to do something when they come into power on it. And I do believe that they will do something about it, but they're not going to take it back into public ownership, which should be done, in my opinion. IARC Thames Water is largely owned by the Saudis. We don't do water charges in the yours to do them in Scottish land, accuses, says Andrew Luke. Yeah, so it's owned by it's also owned. There's also some stakeholders in China, from China as well, Andrew as well in Thames Water as well. There's I'm not sure what day, but I'll have a video dropping regards to that on Patreon. If you want to keep an eye out on that as well, guys. I do not know about it. What's that saying? I'm sure all the outdoor events were held in Strathbogie Lodge during the Olympics. Could be wrong though. Do not know about it, but I believe you. But news is travelling fast around here, says Joe. Affected might ones end up in CEO of Saudi type company, says Tory. Don't get tasered. Aren't Thames Water about to go bankrupt or collapse? Yes and no. They may be put into a state administration of some sorts. But I agree with what Jacob Rees-Mogg said on Twitter, which is to let it go bankrupt, and let the default let the debt fall on them, rather than taking it back into nationalisation, for example. Like this debt that they've piled up, the government has provided so much our taxpayer money towards the infrastructure and whatnot, as well as us paying water bills for it. And where's all that money gone? Where is all that money gone? It's just all gone to shareholders and dividends. Completely gone. We need a mass non-payment until they stop, says Joe Lefty Boater. Yeah, they can't turn off the taps. I actually think there would be a national strike if they turned off the taps. If we did that, if we all stopped paying our water bills, water companies, that they would. The government would have said no, you got to leave the taps on. I think the government would be forced to do that. But ironic, really, the ones affected, says Tory, don't get tasered. Jal says, come summer and people looking for beaches and rivers and lakes to refresh, expect a heightened diseases among the people and more NHS pressure. Yes, great point there, Jal. More NHS pressure is going to come during the summer from people getting sick, from these as well. The Cox of Oxbridge goes to college that I work for, says Airbus. Good luck for the UK to organise any international sport events related or near water, says Jal. Yeah, that ain't going to be happening anytime soon. There goes another lung of funding that we're not going to be happening either. Giles remind you all, please remember to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, get notified of new content of videos and streams. Yes, please do that. They could do. They could follow the Scottish model on policy, says Dave McGuinness. They could do. That would be a good idea. But obviously you guys weren't silly enough yet to privatise your water companies. Yeah. Patreon gives a wider share of their income than YouTube does. Yes, it does. Yeah, supporting me on Patreon, I get a more share of the income than I do on YouTube, guys. Just for those who don't know. And by the way, the content is free. I know I didn't do any content today or here on YouTube, but I will be having content coming out later in the week, guys. Good evening, Sir Larry the Cat. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, just before I go to the last article, let me remind you guys, obviously, Ollie, just to remind you guys that Ollie is holding my Easter egg hostage. If you don't celebrate Easter, that's totally fine, guys. But the lava lamp is hidden behind. So Ollie's smiling because he's got my Easter egg and he won't give it back. There's a lot of ways I can describe Ollie right now. And, I'm not happy about that whatsoever. Just so you guys know, obviously, If you want to financially support me here and the work that I do, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member. That really does help out the channel, and it helps out the work that I do here. Any memberships is greatly supported. For those of you who continue to support me or resubscribe, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. It's what, you know, it just helps with revenue and revenue for me, guys. So anyone who is a YouTube member, whether it's just a Snowflake Corporal or an enforced sub, whether it's 99p or 299, I really do appreciate it. It does make a big difference. But like Andrew said there, guys, if you want to other ways you can financially support me is buy me a coffee or buy Patreon. Both the links are in the description, guys. If you just join on Patreon, obviously on there you don't even need to actually be a paid member. You can get access to some. You don't even need to be a paid member. You can sign up for Patreon, create an account, and you can watch additional content on there. So if you're not getting satisfied with the content on here, you can also see more on there. And also you could also, if you have access to Rumble, I know some countries don't, but if you do, there's a link for Rumble in the description as well. You can also follow me on there, where I do sometimes some world content on there as well. Let me go. I'll do some more plugins later, guys. So conscious of time, and I want to talk about this last story, guys. So this last one I have is from the Independent. Just to remind you guys, we are dual streaming both on YouTube and twitch.tv. Twitch.tv/REGANELITE1. Link for that is in the description. So if you have a Twitch account, following me on there, that would be greatly appreciated too. So the headline for this one, guys, is poor insulation will cost families £340 under each new price cap. So analysis from the Energy and Climate Change Intelligence Unit finds that rated F will have about 50% higher gas bills. So what's this about? So essentially what this story is about, guys, so when you have people coming in and insulating your homes, if they're doing a crap job of it, that means there's not obviously it means that poor insulation is gonna come back to bite you, especially when you've invested in that insulation. Now there are situations, and I'm sure some of you may or may not have had situations where you've had new boilers put in and something put in, or installment from a company or whatever, and then they just do a botched job of it, and then you end up paying more or whatever, or it's like 3-4 months later something goes wrong with it, and then you're calling them back or whatnot. I do feel like it's a bit of a scam when these things happen, because when someone puts in something and then there's something doesn't work straight away, or later on down the line it's like not working, and a couple of months later it's not, something's wrong with it. And I feel like those kind of things, they feel like a bit scammy to me, that these people who do those works either didn't do the job properly, and they basically intending you to come back, and then you end up paying them for it. So I'm always cautious. I will always say, whenever you get installation or any of these kind of things, obviously I'm no expert in any of this kind of stuff, so some of you guys will be better than I am. Just check their reviews, check their feedback on that person or company before doing anything of the sorts. So, poorly insulated homes will increase residents' energy bills by about 50% compared to properties that have met the government targets, according to new research. So, the analysis from the Energy and Climate Change Intelligence Unit, the ECIU, found that the average annual gas bill will be around £340 higher per year for homes with an energy performance certificate of EPF score of F. The findings were released on Monday as a new price cap comes into force, and involved assessments of some of the leakiest homes in the country, meaning the heat produced by gas boilers quickly escapes the building. It's just like, what was the point of that insulation if it's not even going to insulate the heat into your home? The extra cost is compared to homes with EPF's ratings of C, which are considerably reasonable, well insulated. Even D-rated homes will face annual bills of around 50% higher, the research found. ECIU Energy Analysis Jace Wilson said, for millions living in cold, leaky homes, insulation is crucial for lowering bills. But with energy independence remaining a top concern for the public and politicians alongside the cost of living, insulation is now also key to reducing our demand for gas. Unless we start to use less gas, we'll just have to import more from abroad as the North Sea continues its inevitable decline regardless of new licenses. ECIU said that little over a decade ago there was considerably more homes being insulated every year in the UK. There has been a 95% drop in the number of insulation measures since the period before the raft of changes were made by the then Prime Minister David Cameron. I wonder why. I wonder why there was such a drop in installation, guys. What do you think that is? Why do you think there was such an installation drop? It's almost as if it comes across to me that David Cameron wants you to pay more. Maybe it's just me thinking that, you know? Laws passed under the coalition government, that's you Lib Dems as well, to require every new home to have zero carbon emissions were scrapped by David Cameron's administration soon after Conservatives took sole control in 2015. In September, the current Prime Minister Rishi Sunak scrapped plans that would have forced private landlords to ensure their properties had a minimum level of installation. Ms Raskin said the government installation schemes are not delivering at target levels and fixing them does not seem to be a priority, despite the bills and energy security benefits. The next government, whatever colour it is, rapidly needs to increase deployment of energy efficiency measures if it wants to gain energy independence and lower bills. A Department of Energy Security and Net Zero spokesperson said nearly half of all homes in England now have an EPC rating of C or above, up from just 14% in 2010. It's nowhere near enough, guys. We have allocated £20 billion for energy efficiency over this Parliament and the next, helping cut bills for families who need it most. Our investment will raise installation standards of around 500,000 homes across the UK. It's not quick enough. It's just not quick enough. But like it says in there, there's obviously been a lot of poor installation as well, which is a major issue. But yeah, it's just more money that people are throwing, that they are needlessly throwing away, that they don't need to. And I do believe that every single home needs to be insulated. You know, we can drastically reduce our heating bills. We really, really can if we just, you know, not just that, but obviously more heat pumps as well. Obviously, installing more heat pumps will obviously help. Switching more to electricity than gas. We should be pushing, incentivizing more people to do that way. But we also need to give more incentives for people to be able to switch. So those who can afford to switch, give them the assurances and the incentives to do so that they're able to do it. Those who can afford it. Obviously, we are in a cost of living crisis, so encouraging people to do so is much, much harder right now, which is one of the biggest barriers, I would say, for people. So obviously, while this is a priority and this needs to be addressed, obviously the Conservatives, an incoming Labour government, which is what's likely, obviously the priority will be cost of living crisis, the NHS, dealing with recovering the economy so it's able to grow the economy somehow. So these things need to be done. House building needs to be cheap again. Yes, house building does need to be cheap again, one angry pagan, but it also needs to be insulated as well. But we need to, obviously, homes that we have in this country, they need to be insulated as well, because we have people living in such deplorable, despicable conditions as well that also needs to be addressed as well. So there's lots and lots of issues. But Labour are aware of the challenge, but I do wonder how on earth they're going to be able to, what they're going to do in 4 years is really going to be quite huge, to say the least, guys. It's going to be a massive challenge for them. So just before we wrap things up, just one more video for you guys. Obviously, they've got to prepare themselves for whatever outcome. Prepare themselves for an upcoming by-election, and without a shadow of a doubt, I'm sure the Conservative MPs will have their punchlines in place for whenever they're ready for these upcoming by-election hammerings, which they are likely to get. So take it away, Rosie. Defend the indefensible.
Do you think you will win the general election if it was held in 12 months, within 12 months?
Yes, we do. 100%. We've got the best team, the best Prime Minister. We're 100% confident. You don't need to look like that. This recent result, that was for many factors. It was because our voters were deciding not to vote. A lot of our voters were deciding to stay at home and to stay in bed. I don't know, perhaps because they were sad, but they weren't so sad that they were voting Labour. They were so sad that they were choosing to opt out completely. And to us, at this point, is a victory, actually. And I think Labour should be really worried by that. And you honestly, you don't need to look so surprised. We've got a great Prime Minister. He's not going to tax meat anymore. And I think people will see that.
No, they won't. They will not be taxing meat. No. But yeah, so obviously they got their pre-scripts ready, the Conservatives, for when they get wiped out. So that's good on Rosie Holt having the pre-scripts ready for the Conservatives when the next the mayoral elections and the next month's elections come around, obviously. But yep, good on you, Rosie. Thanks for that. Make sure you check out her video. Rosie Holt, only 8,870 subscribers she's got. Nah, she deserves so much more than that. Make sure you check out her video. Link is in the description, guys. Make sure you do and subscribe and all that stuff, guys. She really is a lovely person. Like I said, I've got from the Barlime article piece in there as well. So guys, we have reached the end of the Snowflake's Viewpoint. What's that, Ollie? Yeah, that's right. When this show is over, I'm taking that egg back from you. Yeah, that's right. I'm taking that egg back from you. Yeah, he's not going to be happy. Yeah. So when I click the off button, guys, I'm going to snatch that egg from him. Yeah, stealing my egg. Very mean. Just want to say, guys, a massive thank you to everyone who's come here. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for the super chat earlier, Gareth and Donald. Really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who has continued to support me financially as a member here. Really great, appreciate it. Really does help with the bills, so it really does help a big deal to me, you guys. Just so you guys know, just in terms of content wise, obviously, so because I have been completely off for the last 3 weeks. I have not read. I will catch up on all the YouTube comments over the next, whether it's tonight or the next 2 days. I will catch up on all the comments. So in case you're wondering why I haven't responded, it's because I switched off over the weekend plus today. So I have been off, switching off, understandably. But I will catch up on that. Tomorrow I'm going to be absolutely hectic because I have World News Round to do as well as normal content. So I've got that to do tomorrow. So it's going to be extremely busy tomorrow for me. And it's because of that I will not be doing an after chat tonight. I know some people would have liked me to do one, but I'm not doing one tonight. So instead we're going to do an after chat on Wednesday night. So obviously we will have on Wednesday, we have the Snowflake Watch. So feel free to join me on there, and we'll do an after chat there. We won't do one on Tuesday because obviously we'll be watching Max's live stream after the World's News Round. But yeah, content will pretty much resume back to normal from Tuesday onwards throughout the rest of the week. If anything changes, obviously I will post a community post and let you guys know, of course. So so obviously World News Round 7 o'clock tomorrow. Feel free to come and join me in the live chat before Max goes live. So before Max goes live, come and hang out with me, and we'll look at some of the latest news going on outside the UK before we go into Max's live stream. So feel free to come and hang out with me there. If not, I'll see you in Max's live stream. If I don't see you there, I will catch you on Wednesday. We'll be back with another show, 8 PM UK time. But just before you guys go, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. Be greatly appreciated. Share this across social media so others are notified of this video, and subscribe because it really does help support the channel. And if you do hit that bell notification icon and you don't get notified, please turn your notifications off and turn it back on, because that's a YouTube issue. It's not a YouTuber issue. It's not just me, it's any other YouTuber. If you find out why someone's gone live and you don't know why, it's a notification issue. So if you turn that off and turn it back on, that usually fixes the notification, guys. And if you want to go one step further and financially support me in the work I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content there as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.